What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the modded playthrough that we're doing on 1.7.10. Now, since the last episode, I've waited a while. It's been about 4 or 5 days since I've recorded. It's been almost a week. Just to see if I got any kind of comments, if there was any kind of interaction, that if there's any questions or if there's some kind of subject you want me to touch on, anything like that. Well, unfortunately, I didn't really get a response, but the views were awesome. So I take it that you like to see it, but you didn't want to interact a whole lot. And I completely understand that. It's kind of unusual, me being kind of a new YouTuber. It's hard to relate to me. So I figured this episode I'd give you a taste of what I meant by a different feel of communicating back and forth. So today I'm going to pick something on top of my head. By the way, while I was out and about and I came back, I found a couple of chickens and I cooked them up. That way we have a little bit of food on us. So what I'm going to do is, this episode I'm going to pick something that I've experienced at some point in my life. Alright, to get the story started, back about 17, 18 years old at the time, I was living in Florida. Yeah, that's right, all the way down, and I was living in a little town called Largo. It's about a mile and a half outside of Clearwater. You can literally drive to Clearwater just by going down the street and around the corner. Anyways, at the time, I was completely homeless. And you're thinking, no, you wasn't. Yes, I literally slept on a beach. And I mean literally on a beach in the sand. No covers, no blankets, just with the clothes on my back, and that's all I had. No, that's my home thing. Okay, there's some iron. And at the time, I was so humble that anybody could have just come up and robbed me. I mean, I didn't have much, but it was possible because in the area that I was in, there's a lot of homeless people, just because that's the only place I could go. Now, at the time, I was sleeping off the pier. Pier 66 in Clearwater is where I was sleeping of a night, but I would hang out in Largo and try to find work because they had like work programs down there. And what I mean by that, the work programs down there would allow you to, like, as long as you had your license, you can drive for the auction. And basically what that means, I could take any car that was going to the auction block, hop in it, and drive it through the auction block. As they're bidding, they come in and search it. I go park it, get in the next car, do it all over again. And I did that for 8 hours a day. Now understand that this was kind of like a work program. It wasn't necessarily a guaranteed job, but I loved it because the money was awesome. You know, I was working 8-10 hours a day, and I was coming home every day with like around $150. And you're thinking, well, why didn't you have a house? Why didn't you rent something out? Why didn't you go to a motel or something like this? Because it was so expensive to live down there that, let's say I wanted to rent out a house. That was $600 a month. I was only getting paid around $150 a week. So that's like, what, $500 a month? Didn't have enough for that. Motels, hotels were all around about $80 a night, and that was the cheapest one in town. So I was like, man, by the time I do that, I put gas in the car of my buddies that I was using at the time. And no, he would not let me stay with him because of his girlfriend. She was kind of into me, but I wasn't into her, type of thing. And it kind of made us all uncomfortable. Where are you going, buddy? I'm over here. Don't start that lagging crap. Get away from me. I hear an Enderman too. So it made me kind of uncomfortable, so I just rather stayed on the street. But he let me use his car every day. So that's what I did for the longest time. But to get back to my story, when I was sleeping on the beach, I would always... That torch is just floating out of nowhere. That was crazy. We'll take it for a little bit of light down here at the end. It's kind of dark down here. We'll put it there. And I don't know what you would, it's called the Pier 66 days, a little bit of lag there. And what it is, it's kind of like a flea market on wheels, dare I say. And what it done is these random vendors would come in, like there'd be a glass blower that would make the figurines, and there'd be a fire blower, or there'd be sand sculpture people, or they'd be painting, stuff like that. And one day I was down on the pier, it was like the second day of it, and I was fishing off the pier to catch a fish that I was going to cook later on that night, start a fire on the beach, and cook it up to have something to eat. And this guy comes up to me, he's like, "Are you homeless?" I was like, "What gave you that idea?" He goes, "I can just tell by your clothes, and you're so thin, you look like you barely eat." At the time, I barely weighed 100 pounds soaking wet. And I'm a big dude, I'm like 6'1", 6'2", okay? So being that skinny is kind of noticeable because I'm nothing but a stick. Anyways, he offered me a job. I ended up staying in this little two-story apartment building type deal. And what I liked about this whole story is right after that, everything turned around. I got, a decent job. I was doing a private eye or private investigations. And then I got into doing just different odd jobs for the landlord. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this construction company needed work. And that's when I started really raking in the money. I finally found a decent house while I was down there. And everything was looking so good. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to be here for a while, so I might as well get a car. So about 6 or 7 months after saving money, I had actually saved up enough to get a car. Well, the car worked fine for a while. It really did. It had great mileage on it. It ran pretty good until because one day I was headed towards work like I normally would, and the next thing I know, it overheats just out of nowhere. Whoa, huge lag spike. Sorry about that. And I was just like, okay, what's going on? There shouldn't be anything wrong. This thing should be running tip-top shape. I don't understand why it's overheating. So I take it to the local mechanic, and it turns out that the person I bought it from had rolled back the odometer. In other words, instead of it having like, I think the odometer when I bought it had like 108,000 miles on it. It was a used car, duh. But apparently, from what the mechanic told me, the actual miles on the vehicle should have been way more. I was like, oh great, now I've bought a piece of junk and I can't do nothing with it. So I was like, alright, tell me how many miles do you think this thing really has? That way I can try, to possibly, I don't have anything on me besides crap. I need to get back to the house, which is what we're trying to do here. And I don't remember ever seeing lava. Okay, we've gotten deeper into this cave instead of getting farther out of it. So, I was like, oh, what am I supposed to do now? So they work on the car. It takes 3 weeks. That means for those 3 weeks, I am walking 6 miles from where my house was to where I was working. I was like, oh my God, this is going to kill me. One day, out of nowhere, this group of guys, they look like they belonged in a church or something to that effect, stopped and saw me walking and was like, hey, do you need a ride? I was like, you know what, I could really use a ride. I've been walking for miles now, so thank you very much for giving me a ride. And out of nowhere, the guy in the front is like, you look like you need some help. I was like, yeah, but it'll be alright, man. Don't waste your time on me. There's so many other kids that are going hungry right now. You know, go help them out. Don't worry about me. And because I said that, that dude gave me $500. That's right. Out of nowhere, just gave me $500. I was like, dude, I can't take this. Uh, Not that I don't appreciate your gesture, but you know, this could be put to more use. You know, to somebody that actually needs it, like one of the homeless people. You know, down around the corner that I used to live on. He's like, no, I think you need that more than they do, because they ain't gonna do nothing but blow it on booze and stuff like that. And I was just like, are you absolutely sure, man? That's a lot of money, even for you guys. And they was like, take it, you know, get you something with it, or just save it. Well, what did I end up doing with it? What do you think I done with it? What do you think I done with all that money? Because $500 for a 19, 20-year-old, that is a lot of money. You're thinking, what? No, it's not. Yeah, it is. For at the time, that was a lot of money. Even though I was making more than that working, that was still a lot of money. So what I ended up doing was going down to the shelter that I used to stay at, and I gave it to them. I gave them every dime of it. I didn't keep not one penny of that $500. I gave them every bit of it right then and there. And there was like a news crew or whatever there. And it's like, why did you just do that? I was like, well, it got given to me. You know, I have a job. My car's just messed up and I'm having to walk back and forth to work. But I know these people starve to death just about it. I mean, they get one meal a day from the local pantry and that's it. And I know they're still hungry. Crap. Nope, 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 nope. So I want to give it to them. That way they don't go hungry. That lady was like, that's awful sweet considering you're not, you know, you came from here, but you didn't have to go back and give back to them. And I was like, yes, I did. If I didn't give them that money, I'd have felt guilty for the rest of my life. For the simple fact, that same shelter helped me out when I needed help. If it hadn't have been for that shelter, I'd have still been, you know, eating scraps. Or still sleeping in the sand underneath the dock. So I felt like I owed it to them to go and give back. I wonder if it's daylight. No, it looks like it's still dark. So that's just one experience or one little short story that I've had in my life. I've had a whole bunch more that we can go over in later episodes. I just wanted to give you a taste of what we could do with this series. That way you get to know me a little bit more. You get to understand that I do understand some situations that people are going through, the trials and tribulations of making certain decisions in life, because it's not easy to make the right decision. Being there 100,000 times, I know that you're going to make mistakes. Hell, I make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. There is not one perfect person on this planet. Even though some people like to act like they can't be touched, like they're always perfect, they're not. Don't let them fool you. Don't get down about what's going on in your life, because somebody else always has it worse off than you do. In other words, just because, let's say, for example, I'll use YouTube as an example. Let's say your channel ain't doing that well. Don't let that get you down. There are so many channels out there that only have like 4 or 5 subs and get 0 views. Like, look at my channel. I have 50 some odd subs, but I rarely ever get that many views. I mean, it's true. I understand that, but I'm not doing this for the popularity. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. I'm hoping that the people that do watch and have subscribed are enjoying what they're seeing. And with the whole Freedom family, everybody is stressed out over this $100,000 sponsorship that they're trying to go out on a limb and get noticed just for the sponsorship. It has nothing to do with anything else. In which, in a way, yes, that does bother me. And that's why you don't see me post a comment in every single video. I don't. I only do it on the 100,000, give people tips. And I make sure that the tips are short, sweet, and to the point. I know. Why? I don't want to get noticed. I don't want them giving me a sponsorship that they don't think that I don't absolutely deserve. I'm not going out on a limb to make them feel like they have to sponsor me. I want to earn. You got to understand, ever since I was young, I've practically had to make my own decisions and raise myself in a way. That's why when I was younger, you wouldn't have liked me. Nobody, I wouldn't. If I had been doing YouTube, there's no way I'd have any subs, just because I was so rude, so uncontrollable, that I was just a displeasure to be around. I'll be honest about it. Nobody wanted to be around me because I was just so harsh. I had the FTW mindset, and I don't mean for the win, okay? I truly was a hatred type of person. I hated everything because everybody had more than I did. Like I would see all these people with cars or game systems or, stuff like that. And it would upset me like crazy, and I hated it. I hated the fact that, you had a great life and I didn't. I hated it. I thought, well, man, tell you what, I could have done something better with that money, thinking I'm better than somebody else, when in all reality, we're all the same. No matter what you think, no matter what you do, we've all done it or said it 1,000 times. It's just the way it goes. That's the way of the world. But if you learn from those experiences, if you've messed up here, or you've hurt somebody's feelings there, or you've said something racial that really started a bonfire and really upset a lot of people, I'm hoping that you're old enough now, or if you're not, that you learn that you can't do that. You can't step on people's toes. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. It's not fun, because it's going to come back to bite you. I mean, somebody else is going to do the exact same thing to you eventually. You don't want that. Everybody hates that feeling of being hated or being trampled on. Nobody likes to feel that. So be sure to treat each other with kindness. Help each other out. Even if you don't know the person, help them out, because it's going to come back. You're going to feel 1,000 times better about helping somebody out. Like if you see a homeless man on the corner in the next week, and you see him sitting there and you can tell that he's homeless, go to your nearest restaurant, buy a burger. I don't care which one it is, the cheapest one, the most expensive one. Buy him a meal, take it to him, and hand it to him. And when he says thank you, you just say, don't worry about it. You just hold in there. There's always tomorrow. It will get better. Anyways, guys, that's it for this episode. I want to give you a little, see, what do you think? This is a little bit entertaining. You're getting to know me. You're getting to see me play a little bit more Minecraft in the modded series. In the next episode, I'm hoping to build a little something. I want to get a structure around the house type going. Possibly, hopefully we can find a sheep and get some, get a bed going. But anyways, guys, we'll see you next episode. Thanks for watching.